as well as ourselves. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday evening, the 23rd of November. It's preliminary final night, and I'm delighted to be able to say that in the studio with me, I have the nailed-on grand finalists for Season 9, Northern Burn Boss, Ian Edwards. How you doing, Ian?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Yeah, how are you?
I'm very good, very
To
good.
be here.
Let's have a quick look at who's joining us in the chat so far. Macca's there, put me out of my misery. Greavesy wants some more Jack for this. That's what our two managers about. Evening to Scott, evening to Tato. Jens is about. Duggan, Mr. Mega Horse, Mr. Swan, Mr. Dimble. I tell you what, gents, thank you so much for joining us. I know it was relatively short notice. Me and the Fulchester boss are playing football at 8:15 tomorrow. And if I decide to go for a beer afterwards, I could end up with all you lot crying at me that there was no game. So I thought, let's bring it forward. Um,
It's a good turnout, isn't it, for one match?
yeah, it's a good turnout. I was just asking you kind of off air about home advantage in the final. I think that, from what I understand, if Fulchester get the win tonight, they would retain home advantage for the final, but if Boston win, then you would get home advantage for the final. You were kind of suggesting that you would not necessarily say that home advantage is a massive deal for Fulchester, and they're just as good, if not a little bit better away.
Yeah, I do think they are a good away team. I think it suits them. I think it suits the way they play. I think it suits the tacklers that they've got in their team. So yeah, if it, I don't. I think it's either or for me. I can watch this reasonably relaxed because I think at home to Loco or away to Fulchester are both as difficult propositions as each other. In fairness.
Yeah, there's definitely no easy games at this point in the season. Having a look at the kind of record between Fulchester and Loco, 3 draws were the first 3 games. In that preliminary final, was that the one where, yep, Boston beat Fulchester on penalties? Since then, we had two Lokomotiv Boston wins and then 2 Fulchester wins. So it is these two. Yeah, they don't give anything away. They're just as likely to win as to lose. Let's have a quick look. You can't look at progress anymore, can you? Can you do that? I was going to highlight, if I could, Greavesy's progress. Da-da-da. Can you?
League table progress, do you mean? Or
Yeah.
yeah. Can you not go back to the stage of the league and click on his league position now?
Well, I can see that, but you know the little arrows where they go up and down?
Ah, sorry, I thought you actually meant the graph. Okay.
No. The graph, how would you get to the graph from here?
I might be wrong, but I would have just clicked on the league position.
Here. Ah, there it is, yeah. Didn't know you could do that, mate. You
I
learn
was just
something.
hoping you. I was hoping we'd get through the whole season without you clicking on mine. It's all.
All right, there you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can kind of see Lokomotiv Boston started relatively strong, had a bit of a patch there where Greavesy kind of wrote himself off, and then dived back in on the very last day and have been climbing up the table since. Fulchester hit and miss start up and down here, and then they kind of moved to that away from the 3 up top and to that 2-7-1 for the back half of the season, and then kind of gone from strength to strength, and eventually just pipped you on the final day to not out your distress. Is there is there anything between these two sides? Would you think now? Obviously, Loco have been there before, got that experience, but Fulchester, the form team this season, is it really toss of the coin this game?
It is, isn't it? You've got the two teams really that have got the most momentum out of anybody. If you'd looked at a few weeks ago, you'd have maybe thrown Devils into that equation of having the momentum, but similar to us, it got a slightly stuttery perhaps towards the end. and it's a case of some teams it's whether you can fall over the line. Whereas I think with Loco and Fulchester, it's a case more of can they continue doing what they're doing and sort of march on.
Mm-hmm. Quick look at some of this. I'm on conscious. I've got to try and fill out 10-15 minutes before I kick this off, so I apologise. Maka, I kind of noticed earlier, he kind of has his favourites really, and much like yourself, doesn't change his 16 that much or his 14, 15 that much. He kind of changes 11 more than anything, but you kind of see. Yeah, he kind of stuck with Shearer's play, 10 starts, Comandini, Prutton, then Ramsey, Okan, Hessling, who just had the odd appearances. But this core from Nedved, Butt, Yepes, Beckham, Veron, Giggs, Buffon, they've pretty much played every game they've been available this season. Um, how much strength do you think that core has? Do you think that that's up there with the best in the league, or do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. I think with maybe 5 or 6 of them, you're saying it's taken for granted that they will be the core of any team. I think where you probably got to give Maka credit is a lot of people didn't particularly fancy Beckham an awful lot, and he's gone on to be one of the biggest assist makers in the league. He's shown some really good form, and I know I've said it several times this season and several times in all my time I've been in the Super League. But for me, consistently, Buffon is probably about the best goalkeeper in the league, and I know he calls him out every week, but he's been pretty priceless for him second half of the season. I do think, and obviously made him captain for a few games as well. I think. Yepes is another one I'd look at. I mean, if you look at their three consecutive nines, at the start of the season wouldn't have got in many people's team. And again, you've probably got to praise Maka for. You could probably give Maka any 2 centre backs on the game, and he'd probably get a tune out of them.
Oh, yeah, I don't know about that. I'm just having a quick look at some of the comments in the chat here. Greavesy 1-0 end of story, existential crisis incoming. Mac, obviously not as captain. He's calling Buffon a buffoon. Yes, he does like Yepes though. Greavesy, I was going to come on to Barthez when I got over to him because he's been probably he has been the standout keeper over the first few seasons, kind of ahead of Buffon. Anything else? Craig Duggan back in the Mac. Butt's average rating not much higher than Mileski, but thought it was over an 8. Yeah, let's see. It's a solid average rating. I think he's definitely would say he's been one of his better players. Here's an interesting one. Tonight, Mac has put Ronaldo up top, kept Nicky Butt centre midfield, both Shearer and Owen on the bench. What do you make of that?
Well, Ronaldo's been decent for him in recent times. We saw in the last match against me, he moved Nicky Butt into centre midfield because he didn't want to break up the partnership of Prutton and Biscan, obviously, who were doing really, really well. And why would you when you can probably try and make room for all 3 of them? It obviously allows Veron to move that forward that little bit. Nedved back from injury. He's had a couple of games on the trot, and he could obviously be dangerous tonight. Always capable. It's a fantastic team, isn't it? Really.
Has got quality throughout, and they're all. I mean, definitely in this top half of the pitch, they're all players who are big time players in the real world, kind of thing. Nedved, Veron, Ronaldo, Giggs, Beckham, and not necessarily many of the champ wonders, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Right, let's have a look across his opponent for the evening, Mr. Peter Greaves and the Lokomotiv Boston. You can see there that Massimo Donati doesn't make his appearance. He's on loan from Fulchester. He's not made the squad tonight. I thought those might have been a little bit of a tease if he put him in there. Let's do the same thing where we look at the kind of the big main players for Lokomotiv Boston. Unsurprisingly, Vincenzo Montella's in there, 14 goals out of his 29 starts. Yeah, absolutely key, hasn't he? And scored some big goals at the end of the season. Those ones against the Swindon Devils stand out.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, there's no. It's no coincidence that again that some of the top sides in the league this season they've had that big name striker up top or a top striker. You can't. not many teams in this league have ever had a huge amount of success without a top striker up there. Whether it's a normally one top striker up there on their own as well. I think the usual suspects until you get down to Max Tonetto. Big shout out to Greavesy for pulling that one out of the hat, sticking with him all season and going from strength to strength. Lawson at centre back is obviously a big player. Historically, not everyone's been able to get a tune out of him in the Super League, but he's been key for Loco. But yeah, around there, the names that you would expect, and then you're probably you drop down to a couple more average names. Scholes has done okay. Zidane okay. Koluzny's had a really good season. Managed to stay on the pitch for most of it, although he is on a yellow tonight, and noticeably 4 yellows for Loco tonight, and 3 key yellows for Fulchester as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting.
I thought you'd be watching that one, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
One person who's kind of under the radar this season, obviously big player in Super League history, Gianluca Zambrotta, a 7.81 average, 4 8s on the spin I noticed there, and maybe hasn't had the kind of 8-9 assists that some of the big name assist makers have had, but he's kind of definitely gone under the radar as a key player for Lokomotiv Boston, hasn't he?
Well, I think everyone expects him to do that sort of thing, and obviously well documented. The only real time he hasn't done that sort of thing was at Bern. So yeah, I can. I've got to say well done there to Greavesy again for getting the numbers out of him. Everyone knows what Zambrotta can do, so yeah, probably is a surprise that it's gone under the radar because they are big numbers. But people, I guess, look at the other side of the pitch and look at the surprise effect that Tonetto's had, perhaps.
Yeah, correct indeed. I know he's been sticking with it now, but the mid press, it's something which maybe doesn't look like a Lokomotiv Boston formation. It's definitely not the Catenaccio ones that he's played earlier on in the season. He's definitely has he been scoring more goals as the season's gone on? I tell you what, he doesn't concede many, does he?
No,
He's not
he
conceded 2 since January in the game, and it's now May.
doesn't keep many clean sheets for as you would expect from someone who prides himself on stopping the opposition from playing, though, and someone who does say that 1-0 is the ultimate result. You may perhaps get the feeling that over the course of this season that Boston have had to score 2 to win the game.
Well, yeah, and it's looked like that definitely in recent times they've done that really. 2-3, 2-2, and it didn't look like they were going to make it here. The 4-1-1s, actually the 6-1-1s out of 7. That is unbelievable, isn't it?
That is, yeah, he's done a hell of a job to turn that around, which it showed in the graph, didn't it? That little bit of a rise towards the end. But fair play to him, he kept saying it. A lot of people were doubting him, and he kept saying it, and he's done it. So yeah, I mean, we know what he's capable of. He's done it before, so he'll be doing his best to become a 2-timer and join you in the pantheon of greats, mate.
Yeah, it's a very lonely up here at the top. Um, so here we are, Fulchester versus Lokomotiv Boston. And may I, from my personal point of view, wish my best of luck to both managers and to both teams and all the fans. Thank you for everyone joining us in the chat tonight, even Steve Wright and Rob Slough. Didn't know. Thanks for joining us. Good luck indeed. Go on, we might as well get some predictions out there. So let's have I think from Steve asked before, I think it is golden goal if it goes to extra time. Then it is penalties. It's no replays, anything like that. So if you're going to go for a draw, who's going to be your overall winner? Because I can see
Oh, I mean,
Dimble and Greavesy already going for 0-0.
we're looking at the 2 hardest teams to beat in the league probably here. If I'm putting my mortgage on it, I'm calling a home win
The home win.
by 1 goal, whether it's 1-0 or 2-1.
Mm. Interesting. Mac has not picked any penalty takers, I don't believe, unless he did it with Fifey the other week. And obviously, the last 2 seasons, Fulchester have gone out on penalties. Scott's either going 1-1, 1-1, 1-2. He's thinking, I imagine that thinks it's goal. That's Greavesy in the golden goal. Andrew Allen going 3-0 Fulchester. Macca just saying Boston. Really trying to. Macca's really like, just get it over with, or just get it over with.
Yeah, I'm feeling nervous for them. In all honesty, I'm sort of a few minutes away from being fraught myself because once this is over, my relaxation grinds to a halt, and I just start getting as nervous as whoever wins the game.
Duggan's asking, who would you rather play? Is that something you want to ask?
Oof, I think I touched on it earlier on, didn't I? I don't think there's anything between them in the final. I don't want to play either of them in the final, in all honesty. But yeah, I know it sounds boring, but it's 50-50 for me. You know, daft as it sounds, I think if I was at home to Fulchester, I would probably rather play Loco. So I'd rather take Fulchester away or Loco at home, either or.
Okay then. Okay then. It is very much a toss coin, a coin toss, isn't it? Right, we're on fast. I think we're going to stick with fast for the first half at least. Yeah, again, good luck to the managers involved, and yeah, here we
Good luck,
go.
boys.
The first bit of text for Lokomotiv Boston. Zidane bearing in on goal, burying it top corner, but Buffon is there. Montella down for Zambrotta, but Biscan is there. It's all pink at the start of the game. Valgarin picks it up in the defence for Fulchester though, and a free kick for a foul on Biscan. Here come Fulchester. Ronaldo cannot get past Klompe though. Collusiony to Tonetto. It was skipped a few players there. Del Vecchio gets the effort on
Oh.
goal. Buffon save, and then Petit looked like he missed a sitter there and got the kind of the rebound. Valgarin down to Giggs. Free kick from Fulchester. I don't know what he looks like. Fulchester are
This
having
is
a
a bit
bit of
oh, yeah.
possession, but Lokomotiv Boston are having the attempts on goal, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. It's been a lot happening for 17 minutes. It's not a quiet one, that's for sure. Just missing the goal.
Yep. Here's Montella picking it up from Scholes. Block tackle. Petit's knocked over by Valgarin, Valgarin's picked up a yellow card for having to go at the ref. Kaluzhny header, and we have got an early-ish goal, 19 minutes gone. Radoslav Kaluzhny gets his fifth of the season, unlikely goal scorer. Here comes Beckham for Fulchester though. Prutton terrible effort off goal, and we've got a Zidane injury. I'm sure Mr. Greavesy will be there in the chat. What would you do here? Julen Guerrero or Makalele?
Yeah, the only thing is you're 1-0 up, aren't you? So and Makalele has come on. He had his debut at an 8 or something like that, didn't he? Did really well, and he's done well in his second game. So almost tempted to put the more defensive-minded player in there, being 1-0. At 0-0, I would have probably gone Guerrero, but yeah,
Well,
very tempted to go Makalele.
the ever attack-minded Greavesy is going with Julen Guerrero. He'll be jumping around his whatever room he's watching in now. Guerrero coming on for Zidane. 21 minutes gone. Macca hates this game. Not enjoying it so far. I can imagine why. It doesn't look like it's going too well for Fulchester. So here's a free kick though. Beckham free kick. Fantastic save from Barthez. That's not something you want to see as an opposition manager. The goalkeeper doing really well. Montella, here's Buffon catching it, kicking the ball upfield. 26 minutes gone. Ronaldo, Nedved, Beckham hits it low towards the goal, and another terrible effort. A few terrible efforts from Fulchester. Here's Montella holding up but to Zambrotta. Jinx past Prutton. Here's Scholes, header at goal, close there. Looks like there's been a lot of efforts here. Not too sure how many of them have been on target. Oof, look like the ball was given away to Montella there. It's Lokomotiv Boston just to me seemed that bit more dangerous. We get to 42 minutes. Nedved, Ronaldo up against Klompe. Perfect tackle. Guerrero obstructing Biscan. Here comes Giggs down the left. Advancing with the ball past Scholes, past Zambrotta. Tonetto got his foot in. Giggs to Nedved. Ball upfield. Zambrotta past Giggs to Scholes. Scholes, I think, is an ex-Fulchester player, isn't he? Oh, it's a Scholes free kick. And just
Oh,
as
he's
I
got one.
say it, he's equal.
Yeah, comes home to his old club.
Yeah, I'm just going to double check that. Yeah, came from Fulchester on an exchange deal at the end of last season, and has kind of come back to haunt his old manager. Quick look at the stats there. Kind of as I suspected, really. Lokomotiv Boston having the efforts on goal, looking the more dangerous and being good value for their 2-0 lead at the minute. Fulchester just the one shot on target. They'll need to improve drastically in the second half if they're going to get back into this game.
Yeah,
51-49.
it's
Definitely
all
look.
in Fulchester's area, isn't it, as well? And
Mm,
Lokomotiv Boston winning all the tackles, winning all the headers. It really does. It felt the same as last time out for Loco, where they were in complete control of the game. Not a six to be seen as well. Everybody getting on the ball, everyone in double figures for passes. Um, a lot of people, yeah, and if you look at the shots as well, it's not just a case of one guy having all the shots. You've got six guys there that have actually had a shot, five of them going on target. So it really couldn't have asked for more, Greavesy, I don't think, out of that first half.
yeah, and remember that Petit one was the one where that was a rebound and he should have scored there as well. So
Mm.
it's an interesting one. No doubt Greaves will be looking through his team now and seeing if he wants to make any changes. Please let me know as soon as. Eight's from his from Clompe and seven from Lewison. Lewison on a yellow card. Oh, you'll be keeping an eye on that. Is he one of the ones who was on a yellow pre-game?
Do you know? I actually can't remember. I have. I didn't write it down. I should have done.
Someone will
Really.
tell us in the chat. I'm sure. I mean, Dan's got a eidetic memory when it comes to this stuff, hasn't he? So, uh,
Yeah, and a very
Greavesy,
unsurprising keep as is from Greavesy as well.
yeah. And this is panic stations for Macca. A couple of fives, one for Veron, one for Ronaldo, sixes and sevens for the rest of the guys, and Nedved only having 4 touches of the ball. Ooh, Macca will be wanting to change half his team, won't he?
Well, I mean, we were praising the lineup at the start, weren't we? But are we now seeing the fruits of having three DMCs in the middle of the park? Are they not able to get the ball up to your two AMCs? Perhaps are they just starved of the ball because they've got three tackling machines behind them? I'm not too sure.
It's an interesting one. He's bringing on Owen for Ronaldo. Macca, just confirm that that's the end of your substitutions before I talk on a little bit more, if you don't mind, mate. Um, yeah, Valgarin on a yellow card. Yepes on a seven. Yeah, it's just 3 players or 4 players, sorry, in his entire team on a seven, um, which isn't great. No, he wasn't carded before, says
Right.
Mr. Mega Horse. Yeah, I was just kind of touching on what you were saying there, Ian. Is that I thought then in this situation, Mack has got the opportunity to, without changing his formation, to kind of shuffle that round. He's confirmed he's not making any more subs, but I thought potentially Prutton could have been the person to give way there, move Veron back into his more natural CM
Yeah,
position,
I
move
mean,
Ronaldo back, and then bring on Owen.
well,
Um,
Ronaldo has had some joy at AMC, hasn't he, as well recently? So that did seem the way forward for me as well. But looking in the chat, Maka seems to think that game's over. So it'd be interesting to see if that is true.
Yeah, Matthew Breeze, the referee. Michael Owen has done the business for him in the past. Let's kick off the second half and see if Fulchester can come back into this game. He's going to need a big second half from them. Here's Beckham to Owen, chested in by Giggs into the area. Nedved runs onto the ball, swivels and shoots. Falls to Veron. Wow.
The goal we all needed.
The goal. That goal will give Macca a little bit of hope there. It's exactly the start they needed, but then Lokomotiv Boston a bit right
The
back effort from Montella. Guerrero gets the rebound, and Boston just looks so dangerous in this game. They're getting the better of Yepes and Valgarin. Um, Tonetto near post, ball bends loose. Tonetto again. Guerrero in the area. Scholes corner. It's going pretty fast now. Here's Giggs. Long ball. 16 minutes gone. Tonetto near post. Del Vecchio misses the target. 64 minutes gone. Veron past Lewison into the danger area. Here's Michael Owen past Clompe. Saved by Barthez. Couldn't keep it up, but Ambrosso was there. Michael Owen hits the
it's the
bar. He needs Michael Owen to be scoring these goals. Just over 20 minutes to go. Good sliding tackle, Nedved. Beckham into the area, dribbling low, and another one horribly wide. Beckham's missed a few of those. Terrible, horrible have been the words used. Balgarin, Giggs, long range effort from Biscan. Beckham into the area. Can
Needs something
Fulchester
now.
give us a bit of entertainment and get one into the last? Guerrero through to Montella. Del Vecchio now. Tonetto. Balgarin gets his second yellow. Oh my god. And this is going from bad to worse to an absolute nightmare at the C-suite as Husval Garen's got a second yellow card. Yeah,
Surely he goes one at the back, doesn't he? You would have thought.
you'd assume so. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. He's putting Prutton back, and then I'm assuming moving Biscan central. That's what I think we'll do. But sorry, ignore that. Let's go back. So Prutton back, but CDM. Veron central. Do you want Nedved central, Maka? Not got an arrow on. Just quick answer if you can, Maka. Do you want the arrow on? Sorry, the central Nedved. I'll keep him left hand side. Oh my god. What did I ask? What did I ask first? Was it do you want him central? I think it was do you want him central. Let's put him central. To confirm that's right, Maka, please. It's one of those games you can't, as much as yes, central.
Yes, central.
Yeah, as much as it's frustrating, you don't want to get anything wrong for a manager.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just still 8 minutes. It's still possible. You know what this game's like.
We do. We've all been there. We've all had that thing. But there's an earlier incident here. Nedved offside. Montella, Tonetto. Been in the game a lot. Tonetto. Breeze giving Giggs a talking to. Petit free kick. Buffon kicks the ball up. Here's Beckham into the box. Nedved in the area. Low drive. Oh, here we go. Nedved has scored. Surely no more than a consolation goal.
Oh, it was.
I tried to slow it down there. I probably failed by clicking. I did click on very slow, but yeah.
What a game.
What a game for the preliminary final. Fulchester 2, Lokomotiv Boston 3. Fulchester not at the races at all in terms of how they have been this season. Lokomotiv Boston seeming more and more formidable as the season goes on, and definitely looked the more dominant team in that game. However, looking at shots on target, Fulchester definitely came back into that, didn't they?
Well, they've won the second half there, haven't they? In terms of stats, quite comfortably on pretty much every aspect of the game. Just a bit goal shy, perhaps. Michael Owen, David Beckham, not been able to take their chances. If they turn up on a different day, the result is potentially different. Loco still a little bit leaky, but they get the job done, and that momentum continues forward, and they come through kind of unscathed as well in terms of suspensions, injuries, that sort of thing as well. So yeah, not looking forward to playing them.
Yeah,
I would say as well, congratulations to Maka on a superb season. Won't be forgotten that he topped the league. Regardless of what happens in the rest of the season, which is a fantastic achievement.
Yeah, definitely echo that. He has won the league winners' shield, whatever we want to call it. Not the grand final this time, so unlucky, mate. It will come, I'm sure it will eventually. But then you've got to give back absolutely huge congratulations to Lokomotiv Boston. Yeah, 7th going into game 26, and now into a final. Yeah, but has this happened for the 3rd season in this where the team who finished? We've had a team that had. Let me think. The team who won the league hasn't made the final. Oh no, they haven't won it definitely. Because Dragons didn't win and they won it. Ledderswick I think won the league and then didn't win the final. And then
Swan reliably informed me the other day that I think the last 2 winners have both finished 2nd in the league.
Yeah, I mean, and Loco definitely didn't didn't win the league, did they? So it's definitely, and I never won the league with Phoenix. I just won the final. So yeah, it looks like it's second place seems to be the magic number. But let's not count our chickens, Ian. You've got a big game against Logo to come up.
You know me, mate. I never count any chickens ever. I'm probably the most. I mean, along with probably Baka, Fifey, probably amongst the most pessimistic managers in this league. So yeah, I'm still expecting some surprises around the corner. I mean, I wish I was a bit more like someone like Greavesy, for example, who talks the talk on a daily basis, but is able to back it up as well.
Feels like there's too much context here. I think this is referring to this Champman no context thing, which I've been reading about in the chat. I've
Yeah,
actually not. I think I had a search for it and followed the account, but I've not actually seen any tweets from it yet. I don't know if have you seen anything from that?
it all goes over my head, mate. I have seen them, but I don't understand I don't understand any of the no context stuff that is done properly, or the no context stuff that isn't done properly. Like much of the stuff on the internet these days, I'm too old to understand much of it.
Mm. Fulchester, as we suggested from the player stats, player ratings did improve second half. Beckham, Nedved, Veron picking up man of the match, all on eights. Those guys, and Ryan Giggs as well. Ronaldo was the one who was canned at half time on the 5. Valgaren's second yellow definitely didn't help, but do you mean they scored the goal after that, didn't they?
Yeah, it didn't hinder though, did it either? And I think when you look at Veron having a 5 at half time and ended up man of the match, it kind of you wonder what might have been with Ronaldo's 5 if he could have improved second half and done something. But obviously, decision was made. Owen came on, couldn't quite find the back of the net. So yeah,
It's one of those. It's do you stick or twist, and I think when you've got a player Ronaldo's quality, I would be tempted to stick. Sorry.
mm.
And I said we kind of alluded to. I'd have probably dragged him back into attacking midfield and brought Michael Owen on for Prutton, who you'd say probably isn't at that elite level, and tried to get his big players to kind of drag him through. But yeah, they've won the second half 2-1 after being 2-0 down at second half, but unfortunately not enough tonight. Let's talk about Lokomotiv Boston. And let's give them the bit of credit they deserve. They built that lead in the first half. They've come from nowhere. They've come from being resigned to not making the playoffs to now in the grand final, and some big names with big performances. Paul Scholes with the goal and 8. Julian Guerrero, bought from Sloss and has been injured a bit this season, but he got the goal there. Montella, I felt like he was involved a lot, as was Max Tonetto. They deserve a bit of credit, don't they?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the same thing each time you want to talk about Greavesy and his team. Not always every player fancied, but he seems to do well with all those players. An injury to Zidane going forward is probably his only concern, but then as long as you can keep Julian Guerrero fit, he's more than able as a deputy there. But he's only had what 2 6s in there, all 8s and 7s. Great performance across the board. I think the damage was probably done in the first half. He came out of the blocks. It was all pink straight away, and they kind of took control of the game when they needed to. You felt that they were making the opposition play catch up from minute one.
Indeed, indeed. Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there we are. Thank you everyone for turning up. I've got a couple of minutes if anyone wants to have a look at anything in terms of, I don't know, stats, player stats, things like that. So I'll do that. Ian, do you want to look at anything, mate? Anything?
Just in general, have a flick through, I guess. I don't think my guys come out shining apart from in top goal scorer. So not else to look at for me.
Jesus, 14 without defeat.
That is frightening. Yeah, let's give him the trophy now.
Is that you not scoring from corners, mate?
I
Not
don't score from set pieces. I don't ever get penalties. I think I get less penalties than Hools. So yeah, it's all from open play in general.
So unless Montella does the
Don't say it.
I won't say it. I won't say it. It's nailed on to be one of those two now. He's still there. Tizalco's still looking over his shoulder. Aymar has won the assists, it looks like. Don't think anyone can catch him there. Tizalco's your top assist maker. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and it was Totti for so long. Totti's kind of plateaued slightly, still putting in some decent average ratings, but yeah, we're just not scoring goals full stop, really. So obviously, you don't score that many goals, you don't get that many assists.
Yeah, a few nils there in the past week. You got a couple against Fulchester there.
Five nils in 6.
Yeah, a couple. I mean, you have scored goals in bunches, those, haven't you? So, wouldn't be surprised if this could come through. And we kind of suggested how many games at Greaves he'd only scored one, and then he scored 3 tonight as well. I think we've potentially got a good final on our hands.
Yeah.
Right, Mackie saying delete the save from me, mate. I mean, thanks for sticking with us, mate. And I'm absolutely, you know what I'm like. I'm absolutely gutted for you, pal. Yeah, and the same to Greavesy. Absolutely massive congratulations, mate. Do you mean unable to write you off, pal? Unable to write you off with that squad. Um, and yeah, Lokomotiv Boston are there again. Thank you. Any final words, Ian? Anything before I call it a day?
Just well done to Maka on a great season. I'd like to say well done to Greavesy on tonight, and look forward to pitting our wits against him. I believe is it Sunday night? I believe are we on Sunday night?
According to the schedule, I believe that's what Fifey has. We're finishing it on a Sunday.
And I believe both you and Fifey are both on Sunday night, which so that should be a cracking.
Yeah, basically point out this is my final match in charge of the save. So after tonight, I'll probably put a message out about anyone wants any friendlies, and if you could get back to that, pretty sharpish, that would be fantastic. But yeah, as soon as I send this save over to Fifey, that is me done. Then I'm gonna have a bit of a champ detox from this computer.
Well, if you're calling yourself Corcoms on Sunday night and you're not in charge, I'll just take this opportunity to say thank you and well done for what you've done for the league, taking us forward. Not only giving us new life and new breath, but not standing still and dare I say improving things and as well. So yeah, although we will see you Sunday night, well done, mate, and thank you.
Well, thank you very much, mate. Needed and necessary, but there we are. I know that you guys appreciate it. To answer Steve Wright's question, saying do foreigners not count in the playoffs? I think it's because at this moment in time, until I click continue, there's actually no games scheduled. So that's what I mean. So it says no forthcoming matches to be played. As soon as I click continue, the final will populate, and I assume that those foreigners will come back into it. Yeah, I think that's Steve Wright. We can see in the chat he's asking about why there's no foreign next to Morgan.
I mean, no spoilers really, but I mean, if Morgan is featuring at some point, foreign or not foreign, on Sunday night, then something has gone horribly wrong.
Just the one appearance all season from Morgan. One for the future, no doubt.
He'll feature next season. He looks all right, doesn't he?
He does look all right. I hope someone. I don't know. I don't want to preempt any transfer business, but I hope this guy gets a bit of game time, even if it's not at Northern Burn. He's one of my favourite players on the game for doing a job.
He's coming along. His abilities are there, and he doesn't get your fantastic ratings, but he's always part of a winning team, which is why I know I get ridiculed for peddling him out an awful lot. But I'm always happy to keep him because, he's one of those that won't do an awful lot spectacular, but if he's in that 11, he'll do a job, and you're more likely to win the game with him in the team.
Yeah, Completely agreed. Right, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, Ian. Always a pleasure talking to you, and I'm sure our friendship will continue, even if I don't speak to you as much. Hopefully the Friday nights will get back to being a thing. I used to enjoy those.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Like a bit of Jackbox as well when people are up for that. But right, yeah, there's no one left for you in now, so I'm gonna go. Thanks a lot, mate, and I'll catch you soon.
Cheers to our lads.
Cheers, Ian.